Gandang araw po sa ating lahat. So tayo po ay nagbabalik para sa ating ika-limang video tutorial about sa basic website development. So ang topic po natin ngayon ay HTML headings and paragraphs. So before we proceed in our topic, let's have a recap for our last video and the fourth video. So how can we add an image? So we have already an image, so matte. So let's try to see the properties of this picture, so that how can we know that the format of this picture. So matte, then the file name and PNG. So let's have a recap. So img, how can we add an image? Source, so matte.png. So save, and let's open our, so the image are displayed in our browser. So how can we add? So write your content. So let's go to our browser. So go to Google page. Oops, no internet connection. So that's all for the recap of our last video. So let's proceed in our topic, HTML headings and paragraph. So excuse, HTML headings are titles or subtitles that you want to display on a web page. For example, we have H1 until H6. So we have heading 1, heading 2 until heading 6. So HTML headings are defined with H1 to H6. So only H1 to H6. H1 defines the most important heading. H6 defines the less important heading. So this will be the example of HTML headings. So note, browser automatically adds some white space, a margin before and after headings. So if you want to put an headings or any kinds of content, for example headings and paragraph, automatically there is an white space or a margin sa gilid ng content. So kita nyo naman, hindi sila dikit-dikit kasi meron na silang margin. So headings are important. Search engine use the headings to index the structure and content of your web page. User often skim a page by its heading. It is important to use headings to show the document structure. H1 headings should be used for main headings, followed by H2 headings, then the less important H3, and so on. So note, use HTML headings for headings only. Don't use headings to make text big or bold. Bigger headings, HTML headings has default size. However, you can specify the size for any headings with style attributes using the CSS font size property. So this is the inline CSS. How can we add the inline CSS? For example, h1. So inline CSS or style. How can we add a style for this content h1? For example, we need to resize the font size of this content heading 1. $60 pixel. So let's try to see our example. So the heading 1, the font size is resize is bigger than the normal h1. So this is the example how can we resize the font size of the content inside the elements. So that's all for our headings, and let us proceed in HTML paragraphs. HTML paragraphs, a paragraph always start on a new line and is usually a block of text. So HTML paragraphs, the HTML p element define a paragraph. So this will be the element that we are going to use in paragraph. P defines a paragraph. A paragraph always start on a new line, and browsers automatically add some white space, a margin before after a paragraph. So as what I said kanina, na it the same in h1, na pag maglagay ka ng p element or h1 element, there is an automatic some white space or a margin before and after a paragraph. So example, let's add an example of the paragraph. So this is a paragraph, this is another paragraph. So HTML display, you cannot be sure how HTML will be displayed. Large or small screen and resize windows will create different results. With HTML, you cannot change the display by adding extra space or extra lines in your HTML code. The browser will automatically remove any extra space and lines when the page is displayed. For example, let's add another example of paragraph. So this is a paragraph contains a lot of lines in the source code, but the browser ignores it. So kahit na marami ang lines, naka 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there are 5 lines. But pag punta natin sa browser, continue lang yung pag-display niya. So this paragraph contains a lot of space in the source code, but the browser ignores it. So the number of lines in paragraph depends on the size of the browser. The number of the lines. So let's try to watch this example. So kahit na doon sa ating code ay marami siyang lines, maraming space, pero dito sa ating browser nagdi-display siya on. So nagdidepende lang yun sa ating browser. Kung malaki ang ating browser, so nag-a-adjust din siya. HTML horizontal rules. The HR tag defines a thematic break in HTML page and is most often displayed a horizontal rule. The HR elements is used to separate content or define a change in a HTML page. For example, let's try to erase this one. So H1, this is a heading, this is some text, then let's try to add an HR. This is a heading, this is some either text, so this is a heading to this is some either text. So save, then let us see. So there is a line. So HR means tag defines a thematic break in HTML page and is most often displayed a horizontal rule. The HR elements is used to separate content or define a change in a HTML page. So mayroon siyang thematic break. So yan yung HR tag. So the HR tag is empty tag, which means that it has no end. So just like in BR. So HTML line break. So that's all for the HR. Horizontal rules. So that is the meaning of HR. So HTML line break or HTML BR. Elements define a line break. Use BR if you want to line break a new line without starting a new paragraph. For example, let's add another example for the line break. This is paragraph. With line break. So example, this is a BR tag, a paragraph BR tag with line break. So let's try to see it. So this is a paragraph with line break. So ito yung BR. So if you want a line break or a new line without starting a new paragraph, for example, you add another paragraph P. This normal paragraph. So ito yung normal na paragraph na hindi mo ginagamitan na ng line break. So the BR tag is empty tag, which means that it has no end tag. So meron na tayong dalawang example na tag na walang end tag or empty element, HR and BR. So the poem problem. This is a poem will display on a single line. For example, so P, HTML space, a new line are ignored. My bonnie lies over the ocean. My bonnie lies over the sea. My bonnie lies over the ocean. Or bring back my bonnie to me. So let's try to see it. So this will be the result kung hindi ka gumagamit ng BR line break. So this will be the single line display. Solution, the HTML pre-element. So the HTML pre-element defines a performatted text. The text inside a pre-element is displayed in a fixed with font, usually Courier, and it preserves both space and line break. So example, let's try to change this pre-element. What will happen? So pre-element defines a performatted text. The text inside a pre-element is displayed in a fixed width font, usually Courier, and it preserves both space and line break. So it will have automatically displayed a fixed width font. So that's all for the HTML headings and HTML paragraphs. For our next video is style and formatting. So please don't forget to subscribe and please follow all my tutorial, and God bless us all. Bye.